All right, welcome everyone. Today we're taking a deep dive into Frozen,
Okay.
but we're going way deeper than just belting out Let It Go.
Right.
We're looking at a video essay that analyzes the psychology of the characters
Uh-huh.
and the symbolism throughout the movie.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing
It is.
how much is actually packed into this movie.
Right.
That seems like a simple fairy tale on the surface.
Exactly. So much depth.
But yeah, when you start really unpacking it, there's so much there.
So let's start with Anna.
Okay.
We see right away how much her childhood was affected by Elsa shutting her out,
Yeah,
which left her craving connection and belonging.
absolutely.
The essay highlights this concept of idealization,
Uh-huh.
where Anna falls head over heels for this idea of a perfect romance with Hans.
Right, and it's like
Yeah.
that need for connection kind of blinds her to,
Yeah.
all the warning signs about Hans.
All those red flags.
All the red flags.
I mean, she agrees to marry him after knowing him for like a day.
After like one day.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It really shows how powerful that desire for connection can be.
It really does.
Yeah.
And how it can lead us to make,
Right.
some impulsive decisions.
Yeah, for sure.
I wonder, have you
It
ever
makes you think.
have you ever felt that way?
Oh, yeah.
Like so desperate for connection
Totally.
that you overlooked red flags in a relationship.
Yeah,
Something to think about, for sure.
definitely. Okay, so shifting gears to Elsa.
Okay.
The essay digs into how her Ents powers are so much more than just like magic.
Yeah, they're like,
They represent a unique part of her identity.
exactly, that she's been told to suppress.
Right.
And what's so sad is that her parents,
Uh-huh.
their approach to her powers actually backfires.
It makes things worse.
Yeah, instead of teaching her,
Mm,
to understand and manage her powers,
right.
they teach her to fear them.
Right, to be afraid of them.
And that actually makes it harder
Yeah.
to control them.
And we see that play out
Exactly.
during the coronation scene when
Ooh.
she almost hurts Anna
I know.
with her powers.
Just because she's so afraid.
Right. Talk about repressed emotions exploding.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Right.
That scene really shows you
Yeah.
how suppressing your feelings doesn't make them go away.
Right.
It just makes them,
Yeah.
come out in a more explosive way.
More powerful.
And I think Elsa's isolation on the North Mountain
Uh-huh.
really visually represents that internal struggle.
Okay.
So she's physically free to use her powers.
Right.
But she's still emotionally frozen.
It's like she's free but not free.
Yeah, and it mirrors that eternal winter that's happening in Arendelle.
It's a great visual metaphor.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so then we have Olaf,
Oh,
who seems super simple,
He's so cute.
but he actually drops some profound wisdom about love.
He does.
He teaches Anna that true love isn't about romantic gestures,
Right.
but about putting another person's needs before your own.
And the
It's pretty selfless.
example the essay uses is that Olaf
Yeah.
literally stays with Anna,
Even though he's melting?
even though he's melting,
Yeah.
because he loves her that much.
It's powerful.
It really is.
So what are your thoughts on that
Yeah.
definition of love?
Like, does that challenge or expand
Yeah.
on,
How you think about love?
your own understanding of it?
It really makes you think about what love truly means.
It does.
And speaking of fairy tales,
Right.
Frozen also turns that classic love at first sight trope on its head.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's not Hans Kosasaya,
Uh-huh.
the charming prince who
Right.
saves the day.
Right.
It's Anna's act of self-sacrifice for her sister
Right.
that breaks the curse.
It really subverts that idea
Yeah.
that you just fall in love instantly.
Yeah, it's more about
Because we're complex.
that deep connection.
It's interesting, too, how saving Elsa also thaws the metaphorical ice around her heart,
Yeah.
allowing her to embrace her powers. Exactly.
Without fear.
It's like she's finally free.
Right, maybe love at first sight is just a fantasy.
Maybe.
And real love is built on something much deeper.
Yeah, I think that's a
What do you think?
brilliant point.
Yeah.
It shows how love,
Yeah,
in its truest form,
yeah,
has this power to break down barriers
Right.
and create genuine connection.
totally.
And speaking of frozen hearts,
Yeah.
the essay also draws this really compelling parallel
Uh-huh.
between Anna's physical freezing
Okay.
and the emotional walls that we build up
Yeah, I like that.
after experiencing hurt and rejection.
Yeah, so as Anna's hurt,
Yeah.
her heart literally starts to freeze.
It starts to freeze up.
It's powerful.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder
I
if
think you wonder.
Elsa's powers
Yeah.
actually represent something deeper.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
they could be a metaphor
Right.
for any aspect of ourselves
Right.
that we fear could hurt others
Uh-huh.
if we don't control it. Like we're afraid to let people see the
Yeah.
real us
Exactly.
because we're afraid of hurting them.
That's a fascinating
I know.
connection.
It connects Elsa's struggle to like
Yeah.
a universal human experience.
It really does.
Makes you think about times when you felt pressure to hide a talent
Right.
or a part of yourself out of fear of being judged.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's a really interesting question
It is.
to explore.
Yeah.
I think we all have those moments
Uh-huh.
where we wonder what parts of ourselves we need to keep hidden.
Right, to protect ourselves or to protect other people.
Exactly.
It's a balance.
It is. It's a delicate balance.
But the movie seems to say that true freedom comes from embracing
Yeah.
all those parts of ourselves.
Even the ones that scare us.
Even the scary ones.
Yeah.
The ones that make us different.
The things that make us unique.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance for sure.
So thinking about that idea of embracing your true self, scary, even when it's scary,
Yeah.
the movie really contrasts Arendelle with the North Mountain.
Oh, that's a great point.
Arendelle with its big fancy castle in the bustling town
Uh-huh.
that represents the outside world.
Exactly, with all its
All the pressures to conform.
expectations.
Yeah, right, to fit in and be a certain way.
And then you have the North Mountain,
Yeah, totally different.
which is this vast open space.
Or else I can finally
Let go.
let go, be yourself.
Yeah, like it's a visual representation of her journey.
Self-discovery.
Yeah, her journey to figure out who she is.
But it's interesting because even though Elsa's physically free up there,
Right.
she's still emotionally isolated.
It's true. She's
Her powers are still hurting people
causing harm.
because she hasn't fully dealt with her internal struggles yet.
Yeah, it's like she's escaped those external pressures from Arendelle,
Uh-huh.
but she's still trapped by her own fears.
It's like she's free, but not really free.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe the North Mountain isn't about finding a place to be totally free,
Yeah.
but more about creating that space within ourselves.
I like that, yeah.
It's about accepting all parts of ourselves,
The good and the bad.
even the ones that scare us.
Right, because those parts of ourselves,
Uh-huh.
they're often the source of our greatest strengths.
Which brings us back to that idea of embracing your true self,
Yeah,
even if it's scary.
even if it's terrifying.
Like Elsa's journey really speaks to that struggle.
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
So many of us want to hide our true selves.
Yeah, we hide our talents, our quirks,
Because we're afraid of judgment.
afraid of rejection.
What do you think's the key to overcoming that fear?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It's a process for sure.
Yeah.
It starts with acknowledging those fears,
Okay.
recognizing those parts of ourselves we've been told to suppress.
Right. Like Elsa had to do.
Exactly. And then it's about
Yeah.
integrating them, seeing them not as weaknesses.
But as strength.
Right, as part of what makes us unique.
It's like those parts of ourselves that we hide
Uh-huh.
are actually our superpowers in disguise.
I love that.
Right.
That's a great way to put it.
So it's about having the courage to be vulnerable,
Yeah, to show the world our true selves.
even if it means risking rejection.
That's scary.
It is, but it's in those moments of vulnerability that we
Yeah.
create space for real connection.
For the kind of love that
Yeah.
thaws those frozen hearts and sets us free.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about Elsa and Anna,
They have.
but I want to circle back to Hans for a minute.
Okay, Hans.
The essay talks about how he flips the typical Prince Charming idea on its head.
Yeah, he seems like the perfect prince at first.
Right, but then
But then you see how manipulative he is.
total
Power hungry.
right? Like he preys on Anna's vulnerability.
He knows she's desperate for love and acceptance.
And then when she's at her most vulnerable,
Ooh.
he reveals his true colors.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's a reminder that appearances can be deceiving. Like you have to look beyond the surface.
Yeah, don't just fall for the charm.
Right. You got to get to know someone
Yeah, really get to know them.
before giving them your heart.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting to contrast him with Kristoff,
Oh, yeah, Kristoff.
who seems gruff on the outside.
Yeah, not your typical prince.
But his actions show his true character.
He's a good guy.
Right. He's consistently caring towards Anna.
He really cares about her.
He even puts her needs before his own.
He's selfless.
It's like he embodies that selfless love that Olaf was talking about.
That's true, their relationship.
Yeah.
It develops more organically
Over time.
based on mutual respect.
Yeah, it's so different from Anna's instant infatuation with Hans.
Yeah, it shows that real love isn't about those fairy tale endings.
Right.
It's about those small acts of kindness,
The everyday moment.
the support, the sacrifice.
Then choosing to love someone.
Yeah,
Even when they're not at their best.
exactly. And choosing to be your best self, even when it's scary, just like Elsa.
It's like the real journey in Frozen isn't about finding true love in another person, but finding true love for yourself.
It's about self-love
Recognizing your worth, embracing your qualities.
and being authentically you.
And that's a message that goes way beyond fairy tales.
Absolutely. It really is a message for everyone.
It's like the real journey in Frozen
Yeah.
isn't so much about romantic love,
Right.
but about self-love.
Exactly. About learning to love yourself.
This deep dive into Frozen has really given us a lot to think about.
It really has.
From Anna's desire for connection to Elsa's journey of self-acceptance,
Yeah.
we've uncovered so many layers.
So many layers of meaning.
And it seems like fear is a big part of what shapes their choices
It is.
and holds them back.
Fear is a powerful force.
It really is. It makes me think about how fear might be affecting my own life.
I think we all have fears that hold us back.
What are some of the fears that you think are most common?
Well, I think the fear of rejection is a big one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We worry about what people will think
Uh-huh.
if we show our true selves.
Right. We're afraid of being judged.
And so we build up these walls to protect ourselves.
But then those walls end up isolating us.
Exactly. It's like a catch-22.
And it comes from this deeper fear of not being good enough.
Right, of not being worthy of love
It's almost like we're afraid to let it go.
because we're scared of what might happen.
Exactly. But Frozen shows us
Yeah.
that true freedom comes from embracing who we are.
Flaws and all.
Yeah, letting go of those fears.
And stepping into our power.
It's like when Elsa finally realizes that her powers are a part of her.
Right. Not something to be afraid of.
And when she accepts that,
Yeah.
she can control them.
She can use them for good.
It's such a powerful image of transformation.
It is.
It reminds us that our strength
Yeah.
can come from the things we're most afraid of.
It's like turning our weaknesses into strengths.
I feel like I have a whole new perspective on Frozen.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's given me a lot to think about
That's great.
my own life and the fears that might be holding me back.
And what about you, listening? Have you thought about what fears might be holding you back? What would it look like for you to really let go?
Those are great questions to consider.
They are.
So to everyone listening,
Yeah.
we encourage you to keep exploring these ideas
Think about how fear might be showing up in your life.
and how you can start to let it go.
Embrace your true self
Remember, we all have the power to break free
from those limitations.
and create a world where everyone feels safe to be themselves.
And that's a world worth fighting for.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.
Until next time, keep those hearts warm and those minds open.